Mark, just taking back to the weekend's game, the way that you won that game, is that perhaps as pleasing, if not more pleasing, than any other victory you've had this season? The fact that your guys kept going right into the last kick and got
it.
Yeah,
I think so. We looked at the stats just now. I think we had just shy of 70% possession and 29 opportunities. You know, so we've played well. I was a bit surprised that people saying we didn't play well. I thought we did play well. Didn't take our chances. But to score in that way, to react after the penalty miss in that way was tremendous. Great ball in, great header, and you get your 3 points. So it sends a message out that whether we score in the early stage of a game or latter stage of a game, we're still going to go the whole way. So powerful message and a good victory.
You talk about consistency and getting better every week. Do you think the team is getting better? Because I suppose the results the last few weeks indicate maybe it's the teams are beginning to work out how you play and are adapting to it as a result.
I think any team, we've now played every team in the league, and you've got to give full respect. The team's going to look at Rangers and say, how best do we beat Rangers? We do exactly the same. We look at tomorrow night, how best do we play against Livingston? So the fact is they are going to sit in, and if you look at the footage, there's 8, 9, 10 men behind the ball. It's hard to break down. We did 4 versus 2 this morning. The 2 were hard to break down. We do 8 versus 4. It's hard to break the 4 down. 10 versus 6. It's hard to break them down. 8, 9, 10 behind the ball. It's not easy. It's not easy. So we have to be patient. That was pleased at the weekend. We didn't panic. We didn't change the way we play, and hope we kept on creating chances. As the game went on, after the hour mark, I thought we got more and more opportunities, and we wore them down. So all respect to Queen of the South. They were organised, resilient, and good quality, but we got there in the end.
Did you see a different side to your players, different character they perhaps haven't had need to see this season?
Yeah, there's a hunger. There's a real hunger. And you always think as a manager or a coach, you're thinking, can they retain the focus? You know, because you talk about 9 wins in a row, 10 wins in a row, you've got to maintain concentration and hunger and desire and commitment, all those type of words. But I thought again at the weekend, you saw the reaction to the goal. So the goal went in, great. Now watch the reaction of the players. And that told you an awful lot, I thought.
How important is this competition to Rangers, given that they haven't managed to win it in the 4 years?
Yeah, it's important. I think you can't go into a squad of players and talk about a winning mentality and then say this isn't high on our list. Far from it. It's a game we want to go and win. We're 2 games away from a cup final and silverware, another honour for the club and a day for the supporters. So we're very much aware we want to go tomorrow night, a strong team, and win the game. So that's our intention.
For yourself, Mark, does this give you a great incentive because it's your first opportunity to win silverware as the Rangers manager?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think whatever game you play in, it's about creating that winning mentality and maintaining momentum. It is important. Look at the reaction to St Johnstone. It's important about how we reacted to that evening. But I think right now, tomorrow night's a big game for us. It's a big game. It's not about the weekend, not the next league fixture. It's just about tomorrow night. And if we can get our focus right and be best prepared, which we have trained well, we have to deliver another performance. And as I say, we're 2 games away from the cup final.
Talk about breaking teams down, Mark. Is this a learning curve for you as a manager as well? Because there aren't many teams out there that are such kind of overwhelming favourites when other teams are determined just to sit and defend. Is it something you're having to adapt to as well?
Yeah, I think we have to be very careful. I'm very careful what I say here. Always respect for the opposition. But teams are looking 8, 9, 10 behind the ball. And if you're going to do that, how are you going to get your goal? And it'll be a set piece or a counter attack, 9 times out of 10. And at the weekend, it was a set piece. And in the second half, they had 1 chance as well, a good save from Wes. So we've got to look at it. That's where we're exposed, but we have to learn how best to break them down. And it is about being patient and shifting the ball quickly and playing 1 and 2 touch and trying to make sure we capitalise when they make a mistake. Because teams can't maintain concentration for the whole game. So when they make a mistake, we have to pounce, hopefully, and get our rewards. But we're learning all the time about what we have to do, and the players are learning what they have to do in terms of their playing aspects, and hope we can get better and better week by week.
I understand you were at the Scottish Hall of Fame last night. What did you take from that experience?
I just hope I'm as fit as Bobby Brown at 92 years of age. That's what I take from last night. It was a pleasure and honour to give that prize to Bobby last night. But many big people from the Scottish game, good to meet them and to hear them talk. And the passion for Rangers was evident. It was mentioned so many times last night and so many fans. So it's just a responsibility we have here, and you've got to enjoy it and the weight of expectation to take Rangers back where it needs to be.
Not that you didn't know it before, but looking around that museum and so on, did that hammer home the weight of expectation you've got here?
Yeah, the players know it. I think from our very first press conference, the players know what's expected of them. Our targets are really clear this season. There's no grey area. We know what we have to do, and that's the way you want it. And right now, The fans are excited, the fan support they've been giving us is outstanding, and we have to respond to that, and we have to maintain it. We're only 10 games in, that's all we are, we're 10 games in. There's a long way to go, but we have to drive for consistency and a quality of performance week in, week out, which keeps the fans happy.
Well, just changing topic slightly, you may be aware of the news this morning that Leeds have sacked another manager. I know there were certain stories linking you with that club before you came here. Was that ever a viable option during the period where you knew you were leaving Brentford?
It wouldn't be talk about individual clubs, that wouldn't be right. I mean, I think you've got to feel, I know Uwe very well, and he's a passionate football man, and he's played 10 games of football, I believe. It's 10 games of football and he's gone. And that's when we spoke before about people being given chance to lay foundations or build foundations and then go from there. And 10 games in, and I'm sure more managers will follow in the next few weeks. And you have to wonder what the game's coming to. When what other profession gives people this amount of time to try and do a good job? I find it quite incredible.
Does it make you more appreciative of what looks like a very solid structure in place here, the fact that you can work with that, and yet you have a big club in England, a massive club with big history, and it appears to be this day-to-day existence?
Yeah, but it is. You look at it, it all comes down to that weight of expectation. You talk about what represents success for a number of teams. That's the key. What is a good season for a number of teams? And you speak to some of the championship clubs, and 15 doesn't go into 6. 15 teams all expect to be in the playoffs, minimum 15. But look at the size of the clubs, look at some of the budgets, and you can see why they expect to be in the playoffs. But you can't, that number will never work, it will never fit. So as a result, 6, 7, 8, 9 managers will go. I think last year the tenure got down to a ridiculous period of time. But here we are 10 games in, and manager changing, and of course we're fortunate here, but we have to win here as well. We have to win. Simply the nature of the job is you have to win games of football, but you need to be given time to do your job, and that's a big point of concern.
Especially in the Championship, the lifespan of a manager is getting shorter and shorter, and because there's so many clubs competing. How long do you think a manager needs in that division in order to build a squad that can go up?
This is it. I think the questions you look now, you need to ask some very specific questions at interviews. That's what you need to do. The reality of it is, if someone's been out of work for 8 months or a year, they can't ask those questions because you want the job. And that's the truth of it. You need to go in there really. You need to go in there and ask specific questions. What do you expect from me? What represents success? What money do I have available? What's the timescales? Where are my targets, short, medium, longer term? How long am I going to be given for this job? You can't ask those questions because you're desperate for the job, and that's a problem. That's life, I understand that, but in truth it creates a problem.
Mark, go back to tomorrow night. You say you're going to field a strong team. Will you
Absolutely.
be making a few changes?
We'll have 1 or 2, just using the squad, and never weakening the team, just using the squad. We're a tight squad, as you know, so we'll have 1 or 2 changes. But again, it's just making sure our squad is fitting well. Our only focus is tomorrow night, and then we have a gap until the weekend fixture. But tomorrow night's a key focus for us, and we'll be strong tomorrow.
Any update on John Eustace?
John's hopefully getting there. He's got a domestic situation at the moment, and I'll speak to John this afternoon, but John's getting there fitness-wise, which is pleasing to see. Danny's training, so hopefully we'll see how Danny is tomorrow. And there's no change to the longer term, Cammy Bell and Temps. There's no change. Okay,
so no signing for John Eustace at the moment. I know last week
no, but we're almost there. There's a small situation's arisen, which is away from football, and we have to do the right thing by that.
And your trialist guy, Aslan, is he still with you this morning?
He's with us. Well pronounced. He's still with us, and he's doing well. So we'll see how he progresses.